it's Deborah from the attic, and I'm here today with a quick video which is a flip through of my planner for June 2022. But before I guide you through these little daisies, I'm going to flip you back to what happened in the month of May. May was the month of blossom. There was blossom everywhere on the trees, and that was my focus for my images and my drawings that I did for that month, and you can see how I used them as a little panel. My first drawing for May is actually a design for a piece of copper work that I want to do, and I found that if I take wine corks and cut them in half, they make the perfect base for copper pieces to then be fed into, and it can form the basis of my design work. So that's a plan for a constructed 3D piece that I want to make. This is supposed to be forget-me-nots, but I ended up making the petals a bit too large, but they were great fun to do, and having curling petals like this and then little seed heads popping out from the stems. It was a nice piece of work, and I was interested to see how I could take a very simple little drawing like this and how it would look if I set it in a border. So I was quite pleased with the way that that one turned out. Blue and green was very much the theme for this month. It's a colour I kept returning to. And these are some periwinkle petals, and I wanted to create a shape, a solid shape, just using the petals. So whereas with this image I took a little posy and I housed them in a drawn frame, in this image I wanted to create a very definite shape but without a border, an obvious border. I wanted the foliage and the flowers to form the border, and again I was quite pleased with how this piece turned out. Then I did a pen and ink drawing of some wisteria from the garden. Wisteria is really hard to draw, so I have mixed feelings about this. If it's recognisable as wisteria, then I'm going to say happy thumbs, and I'm going to take that as a win. The other thing that was a real standout about May was just how hot it's been in France. We've had the hottest May for over 20 years in France, and so this page is actually some words that I saw on a newspaper headline locally, trop chaud, trop tôt, and I quite like that. I quite like that it rhymes and it means too hot too early or too hot too soon. And I added the little numbers sort of from 30 degrees up to 34, 35 degrees just to indicate how hot it was. And then I have my little picture gallery that I did for May, and I have this protected. The little photos are protected from the ink by this piece of tracing paper, and I've written on it that it's the gallery for May 2022, and I always try and position the month so it sits sort of in between the photos, so it's sort of framed by the photos. So that brings us to June, and this drawing of some daisies in 2 pots, and it's based on this photograph I've taken of daisies in a pot that sit in front of my front door, and they're really pretty. I've made the daisies more clustered and more sort of condensed rather than how they are all spread out in this image here. But I've used the daisies and the way that the petals sit around this central yellow part of the daisy to inform my drawing of them, and then also the leaves. The leaves for this plant are quite easy to draw, but it's quite difficult to draw them and still make them look like leaves rather than maybe, I don't know, dead fingers hanging out of the pot. So they were a bit of a challenge, and maybe you can see what I mean. They've got curved edges, but when you do curved edges on them, it does look a little bit strange. It's quite I found it quite difficult to create that leaf on my pots. And this will form the basis for a doodle draw video sometime in the future. I'm not sure when that will pop up, but keep an eye out for it if you're interested in knowing how you might put something like this together. Once I've learned how to construct the daisies so I can have them facing forwards or facing out at different angles, then it's quite fun to vary that, and I say to myself, well, how would I draw them if I wasn't drawing them in a pot? How would they look in just a little floral arrangement? And so this is what I've done for the inside cover. As always, I have my calendar here, and I've done this Dutch door style of opening to June so I can see the month, and I've got my goals listed. My goals are always my videos. I put up new videos every Friday evening, so each week I'm looking at presenting you with fresh content, and I like to plan out what I'm going to do. And then I've done the same with decorating my 3 little boxes that I have for ideas, and this is a great way to keep notes so you don't lose little random bits of paper. So I've got design ideas, projects and a planner, and I've added some floral daisies around the outside of that just to make it look very, very pretty. And I've got my regular sort of days of the week and dates all down the left hand side page. The rest of my planner is, as ever, blank. This is for me to do drawing, and my plan with my planner is always to make sure that I'm using this as like my drawing diary, and it means that I can then see progress from when I began doing this back in January, or began keeping a record of my drawings back in January, all the way through to the present day. And the object of this exercise for my planner isn't necessarily to have a really detailed bullet journal with mood trackers and stuff like that. My objective is to make sure that I draw a little bit as many days in the month as I can. This is a great way of tracking what I do. I think I have the simplest journal of any bullet journal I've seen anywhere. It really is minimal. It's basically these 2 pages, and then I have my calendar for reference and my goals for reference as well. I hope that might inspire you to come back in future and look for the Doodle Draw Daisy video that will be coming at some point, and maybe to start keeping your own doodle or drawing journal. It's really simple, it's very good discipline if you want to make sure that you draw a little bit every day. So I'm going to say thank you very much for your time, as always. Thank you for watching, and until we meet again, stay safe and take care.